Hello, and welcome to episode number 98 of the Photographing the West podcast. I thought that this would be an appropriate time for me to talk about 2020 and 2021 for Flanagan Photos. First, I'm happy to say that the Photographing the West audio podcast has now had 31,000 plus downloads over the last 4 years. And the video podcast is getting lots of views on YouTube too. Yay! The Photographing the West podcast continued to evolve in 2020 with the beginning of a video podcast. Photography being a visual medium, it seemed like a good idea to add video in order to display the wonderful photos of our guests. But the audio podcast will continue for those who don't have the time or interest in watching a video. Another change was the addition of more how-to podcasts in addition to our traditional interviews. Photography is changing at a rapid pace, and I thought it would be helpful to have some podcasts that talk about emerging technology from a working photographer's hands-on point of view. What does the future hold for the podcast? The basic format that you know and love will not change, including interesting interviews with interesting people, mostly photographers, but with occasional interviews with people in related fields that have something to contribute to photography and photographers. For example, on January 15th, there will be a discussion on bird migration in general and migration specifically through the Klamath Basin of Oregon. The Klamath Basin is a wonderful, although not widely known location for bird photography along the Pacific Flyway. It's one of my favorite bird photography sites with something to offer year-round for bird photographers. Joining me will be the very knowledgeable local birder and bird behaviorist, Shannon Rio. Although I've spent months in the Klamath Basin, Shannon has spent 20 years exploring the area. In our 100th anniversary podcast, well-known photographer Jim Zuckerman will return to discuss artificial intelligence and how it has impacted photo processing software. On a related note, I've restarted my blog. So far, it's mostly about gear, as I'm a gearhead at heart. But I plan to expand into other photography topics as time goes on. You can find it on my website at flanaganfotos.com. Finally, I'm working on an online class called Better Wildlife Photos that is an introduction to wildlife photography. This has turned out to be a huge time sink and has progressed much more slowly than I had hoped. But I continue to work away at it, and production has slowly become more streamlined. Module 5 on composition is almost done, and I hope to pick up the pace as time marches on. If you have suggestions or ideas for podcasts, blog posts, or courses, please email me at Kirby@flanaganfotos.com. FLANAGANFOTOS. As always, I appreciate your interest in and support of Flanagan Photos and this podcast as it enters its 5th year of publishing. All the best to each of you in 2021. Let's hope it's a much better year for everyone. Don't forget to tune in on January 15th and the 15th and 30th of each month for another episode. Bye for now.